Welcome to our video on the ongoing crisis in Syria, a devastating conflict that has stretched on for over a decade. In 2024, the situation remains dire, with military shifts, an escalating humanitarian disaster, and a profound psychological toll on the people of Syria. Let's dive into these crucial developments. As of 2024, Syria continues to be embroiled in a complex civil war, with various military factions vying for control. Recently, one of the most significant shifts in the conflict took place in the northern regions, including Aleppo and Hama. Here, the armed militia Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which originates from the Idlib region, gained control. Despite ongoing attempts by the Syrian army to reclaim territory, the situation remains at a standstill. Bombings, skirmishes, and airstrikes are commonplace, with both sides digging in and no end in sight. This military shift isn't just about territorial control. It's a reflection of the broader struggle for influence in Syria, involving numerous local and international players. The involvement of Russian and Iranian-backed forces in support of the Syrian government and the presence of various rebel factions has complicated the situation further. Each military shift brings new challenges, and each time a city is taken, the residents face fresh rounds of violence, destruction, and fear. The ongoing conflict has caused widespread devastation across the country. Major cities like Aleppo and Raqqa have been left in ruins, while the humanitarian situation continues to worsen. The UN's most recent report highlights that 15.3 million people, or around 85% of Syria's remaining population, need humanitarian aid. This includes access to food, water, healthcare, and basic shelter. The economic collapse is palpable. Inflation rates in Syria are soaring, with 90% of the population struggling to meet basic needs. This has resulted in widespread poverty, with over 80% of Syrians now living below the international poverty line. A stark contrast to pre-conflict times when this figure was just 10%. Food insecurity is also at an all-time high, with over 12 million Syrians facing hunger on a daily basis. Beyond the physical destruction, the psychological toll on the population cannot be underestimated. The people of Syria have endured unimaginable hardships, bombings, displacement, and the loss of loved ones. Many families have been forced to flee their homes multiple times. Some have been displaced as many as 9 times, leaving them in a constant state of uncertainty and trauma. This psychological burden is compounded by the lack of mental health services in the country. Millions are living in refugee camps, where access to proper healthcare is scarce. In these camps, the fear of further violence, poor living conditions, and the loss of community have made daily life a struggle. For many Syrians, the simple act of feeling safe has become an unattainable dream. Syria's education system has also been decimated. With over 2 million children out of school, the future looks bleak for a generation that has never known peace. The country's hospitals, once the backbone of its healthcare system, are now operating at less than half capacity, with many clinics unable to meet even the most basic needs. The destruction of critical infrastructure, like hospitals, schools, and water systems, has made it almost impossible for many Syrians to live any semblance of a normal life. Over 50% of Syrians rely on unsafe alternatives for drinking water, and nearly 60% of hospitals are not fully functional, further exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. Additionally, Syria faces the ongoing threat of natural disasters. In February 2023, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the region, affecting millions and causing further displacement. While efforts to provide aid have been made, the situation in areas already devastated by conflict has made relief efforts challenging. As we examine the situation in 2024, it is clear that Syria is facing one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. The conflict has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, displaced millions, and caused untold suffering. Yet, despite the tragedy, there are still glimmers of hope. International humanitarian organizations continue to provide aid, and various countries are working to support the refugees and internally displaced people. However, the path to peace remains uncertain. Diplomatic efforts have largely stalled, and despite multiple rounds of negotiations, there has been no lasting resolution. The ongoing violence, coupled with the political complexities of the region, makes it difficult to foresee a peaceful future for Syria in the near term. The people of Syria deserve better, a future where they can rebuild their lives, where children can attend school without fear, and where families can live without the constant threat of violence. Until then, the international community must continue to support Syria's displaced people and work toward a solution that ends the suffering. As we conclude, It's important to remember that while the Syrian war may seem far from over, every effort counts. Humanitarian aid, political dialogue, and international pressure may one day lead to a peaceful resolution. But for now, the struggle continues, and the Syrian people remain in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you for watching this video on the Syrian Crisis 2024. Please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing global issue. Together, we can spread awareness and continue supporting those who need it most.